Once upon a time, in a vast and beautiful ocean, there lived an oyster named Oliver. Oliver lived in a cozy shell, surrounded by all his underwater friends. He was always curious about the world above the water, but he was content living among the coral and sea plants. One day, a big storm came and the waves were very rough. The wind howled and the water churned, tossing Oliver and his shell around like a leaf in a stream. Suddenly, Oliver found himself washed out of the sea and thrown onto the sandy beach. He felt very scared and alone, with nothing but the sun and the sky above him. Just then, a group of seagulls flew down to see what was going on. The leader of the seagulls, a wise old bird named Gulliver, saw that Oliver was in trouble. Gulliver and his friends decided to help Oliver. They knew that oysters need to be in water to survive, so they flew down to the beach to see what they could do. Gulliver approached Oliver and asked him what was wrong. Oliver explained that he had been washed out of the sea and didn't know how to get back. Gulliver listened carefully, and then he said, "Don't worry, little oyster. We'll help you get back to the sea." The seagulls lifted Oliver back up into the air and carried him back to the sea. They flew over the water, searching for a safe and sheltered spot where Oliver could live. Finally, they found a quiet bay with calm waters and a sandy bottom. Gulliver told Oliver that this was the perfect place for him to stay. Oliver was very grateful and thanked the seagulls for their help. Gulliver smiled and said, "It was our pleasure. We're happy to have made a new friend." The seagulls then flew off into the sky, leaving Oliver in his new home. From that day on, Oliver lived happily in the sea, surrounded by his underwater friends and visited often by the kind seagulls. He learned to appreciate the beauty of the ocean and was always grateful for the friendship of the seagulls. And whenever he saw the seagulls flying overhead, he would wave his little shell in greeting. Years went by, and Oliver grew into a strong and healthy oyster. He passed on the story of his adventure to his children and his children's children, always remembering the seagulls who had helped him when he was in need. And that, my dear child, is the story of the oyster and the seagulls. Good night, sweet dreams.